We are so excited to go on Celebrity Edge this Saturday until this news broke late tonight. We might not be sailing anymore. Welcome to JJ Cruise. My name's Jared. Jordan, who usually does the cruise news, is in bed already because this news is breaking late. If you are not familiar with our channel, love cruising. If you're obsessed with cruising, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button, like this video, and ring that notification bell so you are up to date with all things cruising coming up with the restart of cruising in the US and across the world. Now, most of you may know or followed us already that we were already on Adventure of the Seas for Royal Caribbean. That was the first major cruise line to restart in North America. Now, the next cruise sailing after that we were a part of and is the first out of Florida is Celebrity Edge. The Celebrity Edge announced almost a month ago that they would be sailing and the first to start sailing out of the US in Florida. And we were so excited to be able to book that first initial sailing. Now, with that comes a lot of risk. Of course, risk in the fact that we are still in the midst of this whole pandemic, and we want to make sure that everything's safe, just as much as the cruise lines want everything to be safe. Well, tonight we have unfortunate news. After a full day of testing on Celebrity Edge, tonight, the color category or color code has turned to red on the CDC website. This is heartbreaking for us to report on because this is a part of what our plans are for vacationing and could be affecting whether or not we'll be sailing this weekend. Now, if you are familiar, there are a lot of different reasons why a ship could turn red on the CDC website. It is not for sure on what the reason is since it came so late, but we expect there to be news breaking any moment later today, as it is already after midnight, so later today on Wednesday, but we expect there to be news soon. Now, we do know from sources that the crew was not going to be fully vaccinated until the 25th, which would be a day before setting sail on the Edge on June 26th. Now, that doesn't mean that people are getting vaccinated, crew aren't getting vaccinated on the 25th. That means that the full 14-day period after which they were getting the second dose or first dose, whatever they received, is finished, just like the request of all of their vaccinated guests. With that comes risk. We know that. And what we can see now is that there could have been, after a day full of testing, a reported case on board the ship of Celebrity Edge. Now, there are some possibilities here that may be better off than we think. First and foremost, just in case there is a reported incident on the Edge, if there was just one incident, that does not necessarily mean the sailing is not going to happen. Now, if it is multiple, well, then we're kind of in a bad luck situation and we don't expect to be sailing this weekend. Another possible solution here and reasoning for this change of color is if someone missed the reporting deadline just for the day. To dumb it down, if somebody didn't file the paperwork in by a certain time of the day, then the CDC will put it at red because they don't know if this is safe or not. So we have the possibility of seeing this turn back to orange or even yellow, probably most likely orange, tomorrow after someone submits paperwork, if that was the reason. But after seeing a full day of testing today and knowing we're getting close to sailing, we have to believe that there is something more going on with this story. Now, with a color code of red, that does mean that somebody, and I'm just going to bring this up so I can have it perfectly on my phone here. The cruise ship color coding status guide. Has anyone on the cruise ship tested positive for COVID-19 in the past 14 days? If yes, they go on to the next section. Are both of the following statements true? The crew member or members tested positive for COVID-19 on the day of boarding or during their initial 14-day quarantine period, and no close contacts were identified. If that's a yes, if both of those statements are a yes, they're put in the orange ship category. And we see that with most cruise ships today. So that is not rare. There are multiple reasons to put in orange. It could also come from if all symptomatic people have a diagnosis of other respiratory infections. There's a lot of reasons to go to orange. So that is not of concern. It is mainly the red section, which is if both of those statements are not true. Meaning the crew member or members tested positive for COVID-19 on the day of boarding or during their initial 14-day quarantine period, or no close contacts were identified. Obviously, it's focused on the first statement there. So meaning that no is the case, that means that they both tested positive and there were close contacts identified. Now, to give you context here, this is not the first ship to go red. There are others out there. For example, Disney Wonder, which we know has had cases on board. MSC Meraviglia, that has also gone red. And Celebrity Edge, of course, is the latest. But before that was Odyssey of the Seas, which if you have been following us for any time, you know we've already been canceled on Odyssey of the Seas' inaugural cruise for July 3rd. And if it's anything like the Odyssey of the Seas for Celebrity Edge, we can expect almost an entire month of cancellations. Odyssey announced while we were on our cruise of Adventure of the Seas last week that they had found positive cases on board the Odyssey of the Seas, and that was going to end pretty much every cruise in July, starting with their inaugural July 3rd, all the way through until the end of the month. They have not fully reported or opened up some of the sailings from July 31st to August 14th, but that is what is expected to open up here, hopefully in the next week. So, with all of this news, what do you take from this? Of course, I want to reiterate, we do not know exactly why they went to red. We do not know for a fact that this is because they found cases on board. It could be, it might be that someone missed the deadline and we go to orange tomorrow and everything is okay. What are your thoughts? Let us know in the comments below. After hearing this news and doing research for yourself, do you believe that we will be setting sail on Edge, Celebrity Edge, this weekend on Saturday for the first ever cruise out of the US since this whole thing began? Or do you think that this is where we're thinking it's heading, that cruises are going to be canceled on Celebrity Edge and there were cases found on board? Or is it somewhere in the middle? Maybe there was just one or two isolated incidents and they now have to keep on testing, and maybe just the first or second cruise might get canceled, but not all of the cruises for the next month. Let us know in the comments below what your thoughts are. This is a very, very hard time for the cruise industry to restart, but we're supporting them. We want to be there every step of the way, and we want to bring you the news first. So please, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, as well as that notification bell, and let us know in the comments below what your thoughts are. We will follow along the way, through the highs, through the lows. We're here right now, and we are disappointed, hoping for the best, but also preparing ourselves for the worst. So, with that, until next time, see ya.